Oh, hello, eighth graders. Man, my hair is looking good. Oh, hey, Caesar. Chapter 12. Caesar, what is chapter 12 all about? Reform. Yeah, reform. Fancy word for what? Change. That's right, Caesar. Man, you're a smart dog. Change, reform. We're just trying to make America a better place to live. Around this time, 1800s, there are many things that Americans think, hey, we could be doing better. We could be living a better life. So I asked you guys to do some reading in chapter 12 and answer some questions. It's Thursday night. It's due tomorrow. I believe in you guys. I know you're going to get it done. So let's say we wanted to dive into chapter 12, reform. All right. So we go to classwork. Here's 12.1. Aha. Improving society, reform, an organized attempt to improve the conditions of life. Yeah. Now, what are some examples? The first one the textbook mentions, let me move over here if you don't mind. The temperance movement. Look, alcohol during the 1800s, it's a problem. Whiskey, cheaper than milk. It's safer to drink than water, which a lot of places in the United States is contaminated. So as a result, alcohol abuse reaches epidemic proportions. Now, the temperance movement just said, hey, maybe we should tone down the drinking, reduce it. Prohibition called for the total ban of drinking it or selling it. So again, that's the key difference between the two. Temperance is like relax, prohibition, let's ban it all. But we could do better. We can reform how we handle alcohol in this country. Now, this cool lady, Dorothea Dix, she notices the conditions of prisoners who are tied up in chains and in these barbaric conditions, and the mentally ill who are kind of treated like prisoners, not like people who need help medically, but like they're crazy, lock them up. She sees this and she thinks reform. We can change this. We can be better than this as a society. And she pushes for change in those areas. Education reform. We're a dumb country. Most of us can't read or write. So Horace Mann and other people lead the way on getting schools into our country. All of these things, examples of social reform or change. All right. Now, 12.2, we look at one reform movement that takes center stage in the 1800s, and that is the abolitionist movement, a call to end slavery. If you're an abolitionist, you want to abolish slavery. Now, one of the most famous ones, Frederick Douglass. You guys got to meet this guy. Why? Well, I'll tell you why, Caesar. Former slave, taught himself to read or write, escaped, started going to large crowds and speaking out against slavery. The coolest speech ever. What to the slave is the 4th of July? So imagine this. It's 1852. It's actually July 5th. It's in some city in upstate New York. And they asked Frederick Douglass to come speak in this celebration on the anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And he gets up there in front of this large crowd, primarily white, and basically his speech is, why did you guys invite me here? Is this a joke? As a black man, I have no freedoms. I don't celebrate liberty. This holiday is a sham. You guys may rejoice, I may mourn. Uh, awesome speech. And if you go to my website, you guys go to my website regularly. Hey, there's some new videos up here, and one of them is James Earl Jones reading the speech, What to the Slave is the 4th of July. Watch it. Take a couple minutes today and watch it and listen to those powerful words. Really good stuff. Again, that's linked on my website. So the abolitionist movement included the Underground Railroad, which I'm sure you guys have heard of. Harriet Tubman, a conductor on it. If you were a conductor, you helped these runaway slaves from the South escape mainly to the North, ideally to Canada, so where you could be very safe, but really any northern free territory. A lot of Underground Railroad stations right here in the Detroit area in Michigan. So Harriet Tubman, again, pretty soon the new face of the $20 bill, replacing Andrew Jackson. She was one of those conductors on the railroad. Very cool lady. Did a lot of cool stuff. Check her out. $40,000 bounty on her head. All right, more reform in chapter 12, the women's rights movement. Really mainly about suffrage, trying to get the right to vote. But in 1840 in Seneca Falls, New York, a bunch of women meet and basically declare, hey, we should have the same right as men. And they write their own Declaration of Independence, but for women, that says, hey, we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women are created equal. Hey, Lazdog, I was in Seneca Falls, New York this past summer. I saw where Susan B. Anthony was buried. And again, the town really is marked by the historical conference that was held there that, again, pushed for women's rights and new opportunities for women, jobs, education. So women's rights also takes flight in this Chapter 12 reform. So social reform, it's change. We're trying to make life better. The temperance movement was trying to reduce the amount of alcohol we drank because, again, alcohol, it was a huge problem. Whiskey cheaper than milk or beer, safer to drink than water. Fathers weren't being very good husbands or dads, so we could do better. Temperance was different from prohibition. Temperance was just lessening alcohol use. Prohibition was banning it completely. Dorothea Dix, she fought for better conditions for the prisoners and mentally ill. Those conditions, poorly heated, not enough food, cramped, barbaric conditions. Public schools, schools supported by taxes. Most Americans can't read or write. Massachusetts is the only state that requires you to go to school. If you're going to school or being educated, you come from a wealthy family because poor children basically have to work, whether it be on the farm or somewhere else. They don't have time for education. So under these circumstances, Americans were not very smart, so we push for a better education system in this country. Change. The abolitionist movement, we're trying to get rid of slavery. Frederick Douglass, go watch that video. What to the slave is the 4th of July. Harriet Tubman, roses are red. The Underground Railroad didn't involve trains. Harriet Tubman was a conductor of freedom, helping slaves escape slavery and break free of chains. What? No good, Caesar? I'd like to see you write one better. Anyway, women's suffrage, women trying to get the right to vote. Maybe you read about Sojourner or Lucretia, Elizabeth, Susan B. Anthony. Check out some of those among many others who fought for equality for women. That is the Chapter 12 questions, my friends. Again, go to my website and check out any of the videos. Reform movements, little crash course, little bio on Frederick Douglass. Listen to that speech he gave. Women's rights and bicycles. What do they have in common, Caesar? Well, if you want to find out, watch the video, and then maybe a little bit about Harriet Tubman. Chapter 12, my friends, learn something. Become a smarter person. Anything else we need to know, Caesar? No. All right. Thanks, my friends. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.